Good afternoon. It's Jeneen of Jeneen Cares, where we are caring, achieving, restoring, empowering, and supporting our youth for the future, building legacy leaders. And I am highlighting and celebrating our legacy leaders. And I'm excited to be here with Miss Cheyenne McGregor. Not married yet,
Not
but
yet.
definitely waiting on the right one. So I'm excited to entertain you today just for a few moments and to celebrate her legacy leadership. And so could you please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and all of the wonderful things that you're doing in your community? Specifically, if you could, cater towards a high school audience, thinking about, the class of 2020, the visionary leaders, including my daughter, Cherie. Congratulations to the entire class of 2020.
Congrats.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you came to be where you are today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, first and foremost, Jeneen.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure since the moment I met you. Well, interestingly enough, my life made a beautiful pivot in my teen years. As a teenager, I moved to Florida at the age of 16, initially on my own for about a month or so until my mother came and joined me to Florida. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and
Philly in the house.
Okay.
Go Eagles, go Birds.
Brooklyn, Philly in the house. So, of course, moving to Florida was a huge culture shock for me. However, I always wanted to go to HBCU.
All right.
So I followed the footsteps of my older cousin rather, and went to FAMU like she did.
Nice.
But just to take a little bit of a step back and give you some background, as far as advice goes for young people and high schoolers. Like I said, I moved when I was in high school. It was my senior year of high school at that. So I had to make a choice for myself to want more, and I wanted more opportunities, career-wise, educationally, and just be able to have a fresh start in life. I was having some troubles in school, great academic student, but just socially having some issues, and I decided to make a leap of faith. God said, you need to go, and I went.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
It was, and I went to my cousin's graduation at FAMU. I met Hezekiah Walker at her church, and literally the decision was made in that moment. He whispered in my ear, God told me to tell you, you need to be here. And I was like, okay.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing
True
how
story.
that happens? Yes.
True story. And so I enrolled in FAMU, and I studied broadcast journalism. I went on to FSU and studied integrated marketing communications.
Nice.
I started working for the Tallahassee Democrat as a writer and communications relations specialist at the same time while I was still enrolled.
Get it, sis?
And I just kept going from there as a journalist, producing news. And, it was never an easy journey. A lot of personal things happened along the way, but I stuck to the path of always wanting to maintain my career in communications and helping people along the way.
Awesome. And I'm excited to be recruiting you as one of my helpers in life with Jeneen Cares. We're looking at starting a nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit about Nonprofit X?
Yeah, so my business is called The Nonprofits, and it's a play on words, actually fixing nonprofits. And it started with me doing freelance work in addition to my full-time job as a director of grants and communications for a leading nonprofit in Florida.
Nice.
And so as I was helping small sprouting nonprofits, I saw that so many of them started with an amazing heart and need in the community, but they just needed the tools in order to go to the next level and be successful. And so I launched the nonprofits, and we provide an array of services, including helping people just get started.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
It's going to be an amazing journey. I can't wait to help you.
Yes.
And then also with grant writing services, we do workshops for already existing nonprofits.
Amazing.
Yes, and trainings, volunteer orientation, board orientation, you name it.
That is exciting, and I cannot wait to be a part of that legacy leadership, starting a nonprofit. We're catering towards Frederick County Public Schools, where I am an employee. I am the Achievement Specialist for School Culture, where I'm implementing restorative practices. And right now, our world needs healing, and so I'm excited to be able to help with that in my school district, but also in the world. I think I am a licensed trainer for the International Institute of Restorative Practices by God's design. mine. And I served as a principal for 3 years. I'm a graduate of Howard University. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. But of all, I am a caring person who is restorative in nature and excited to help restore the world in many different aspects. And so as we think about all that's going on in the world, I'm sure many of you who are watching are thinking about a lot of things. Some of the things as a parent that I'm thinking about is obviously Black Lives Matters. I'm thinking about our children in our schools who are at home right now. I work in the Department of Student Services, and so we have a lot of staff members, psychologists, therapists, PPWs, community liaisons who are really concerned about students right now. So those are some of the things that are on my mind. What are some of the things that are most present on your mind since you've been home on the quarantine?
A lot of the things you just mentioned, of course. Before it was called Black Lives Matter, we was just being Black. Yeah. And it's just our day-to-day life and experience. It's a shared trauma for many of us. It's a shared joy as well. We don't want to forget that.
Absolutely.
It absolutely is a privilege to be Black. And I think hopefully more people are able to see the beauty in being Black. That has been heavy on my mind. I live in downtown Orlando. I'm here in the mecca of a lot of the protests.
Good word, mecca. Howard University, HU, you know.
So,
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So a lot of the time I've been in quarantine, I've been hearing the daily protests and the cops driving by, the ambulances, and I'm just in fear sometimes. I'm in prayer that my people stay protected and that it's not a negative response to their purpose.
Absolutely.
And then second to that, like I said, I'm a full-time director of an early learning coalition. And so I'm thinking about the children who have been home during this time,
yes.
Exposed to some negative things. Just watching TV is negative right now. Domestic violence, and of course the numbers for some child abuse cases have gone up as well. So those are the things in my mind, but they're also the things that are in my prayers as well.
Absolutely. We have to keep God first. I have started several groups and to remain positive, and it's the next question that I have for you. What are you doing to remain positive? Some of the things that I'm doing to remain positive is to truly start that community building. When we talk about restorative practices, we're talking about building community, but more specifically, we're also talking about managing conflict and restoring and repairing harm when things occur in our communities. And so with that in mind, what are you doing to remain positive? And then I'll share a few things and shout out a few groups that I'm doing.
Excellent. So yes, I'm an executive board member of an organization in Orlando called Black Business Orlando.
Nice. That's actually how we connected through one of those.
That is right. So we just recently did an interview with Black Business Orlando Spotlight. We've been spotlighting different Black business owners and advocates in the community. So we interviewed Russell Drake, Mr. Russell Drake, and he's now a common friend of ours. And he has been doing, ever since the first day of Black History Month, we highlighted him for interviewing another Black business each and every day since the first day of Black History Month.
And I must add that Russell Drake is also a Howard University graduate, a member of Omega Psi Phi, Fraternity Incorporated as well.
He's a proud member.
A proud member, as we should be. Alpha
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So doing stuff like that. We also did a virtual town hall, and we discussed an array of issues affecting the Black community, not just business.
Yes.
So we plan to do those at least monthly to continue that conversation, because too often we have one and done conversations, and we both know not much can come from that. So we want to keep the conversation going and create action plans for ourselves as individuals and as a collective.
Absolutely. And I think that is why I have created the tag LEAD, learn all that you can learn, empower others along the way, and surround yourself with people who can empower you, like Mrs. McGregor, Miss McGregor here. I'm trying to get her mad. I don't know what it is.
That's old school anyway, girl. Say it the way you want to.
So leadership is learning, empowering, and acting with an action plan. You have to be strategic and intentional about your plan, and then always dreaming big. And so I appreciate you saying that, and how the time now is not just to listen and learn, but also to act.
Absolutely.
And so with that in mind, what advice do you have for our youth? What advice do you have for parents? If you were to talk to maybe some victims right now, people whose lives have been taken, or their children, or someone has been impacted through COVID, what kind of messages of hope and perseverance and resilience would you send to parents and students right now?
Well, you just mentioned so many things that are happening simultaneously to each
Absolutely.
other, and there have been traumas on top of traumas sometimes, like you've mentioned. I've lost people from back home, like I said, from New York City. A lot of people have been affected by coronavirus. So my best piece of advice is something that I actually did this weekend, and that's just take a step back. If you can find time for yourself, it's okay
Absolutely.
to take a step back, to practice self-care, to do you, to walk away from some of it, walk away from even your family sometimes, just to have that one-on-one time with you and God. I think that is probably the best piece of advice that I can give anyone of all age groups. Or if your need right now mentally is to reach out, then reach out. Everyone needs someone right now. Everyone needs that support system, and you'd be surprised who are willing to help you, because people are actually looking for that themselves.
Absolutely. I think that we are connecting so much, and I hear myself as I'm speaking saying absolutely, because I'm just affirming everything that you're saying are the things that I've been talking about, the things that I've been doing. You mentioned self-care with respect to restorative practices. One of the major tenets of that is making sure that we practice self-care, because self-care is not self-pity, it's not narcissism. It is a requirement, especially when you are a giver. You need to make sure that you are giving to yourself and being restorative with you. And some of the things that I've been doing to remain positive is starting groups and building community. That is what restorative practices is all about. And so if you're interested in joining me in some of the groups that I have a restorative leadership one-on-one on Facebook. I have a group called The Testimony on Facebook. I also have a group called Professional Mrs. Mom on Facebook. And I just started one called Restorative Frederick Leads, because we're looking at, in our community, also celebrating our business owners, minority business owners, Black business owners, one community together strong. I'm from the model that we all can achieve. I'm a proud graduate of a very diverse environment growing up, Strongmont Elementary plus Music Magnet School. One of the things that I believed in doing as a principal is really providing opportunities for everyone to have access, whether that was access to rigorous curriculum, opportunities like music, arts, and things like that. And so I am also launching one called Get It Sis, to continue to empower our women, because it's so important for us. I believe that, behind every strong woman is a sister holding her back, as well as supporting and uplifting. And so I want to thank you for your time today. It was a pleasure meeting with you. I'm so excited about launching, and you're getting your support launching my nonprofit, Jeneen Cares. Once again, it's Jeneen from Jeneen Cares, where we are caring, achieving, restoring, empowering, and supporting our youth for our future. Is there a website that you might want to shout out and let people know where to find you?
Absolutely. You guys can find me at The Nonprofix on Facebook and Instagram. That's THENONPROFX, or at www.thenonprofix.com.
Awesome. And if you want to follow me on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share in my videos. Jeneen, Jeneen Cares on YouTube. I look forward to collaborating and leading with you, learning, empowering, acting with an action plan, and dream big. God bless everyone, and take care.